introduce to you someone who is just an absolutely spectacular human being all around. His name is Luca Orlandi, and he runs Rome Private Excursions. Welcome, Luca, from Italy. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno a te, buongiorno everyone. Thank you so much, Rachel, to have me in. The moment you asked me, I was all over the places. I'm so happy that you invited me over, and thank you again.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to have you. I have to tell you, so we went to Italy in 2019. It seems like it was forever ago. And your company, right, made our trip, which would have been great. It made it stupendo. It was just magical and amazing, all because of you. So grazie mille again for such a wonderful experience.
Rachel, it's always my deep pleasure when you guys come over to show you my beautiful city, my beautiful country, which is Italy. And, you know, I feel lucky to do what I do. So thank you for being over.
We cannot wait. Counting the minutes till we can come back. So tell us, how did you start it's a tour business, and was it something that you've always wanted to do?
This is a very good question. It might take a few minutes to explain better because it's very funny. You know, sometimes the fate has it ready for you, right? So I'm originally, now, as you know, I'm based here in Rome, Italy. But originally, I'm from the northern part of Italy, where I come from, a modest family. You know, mom worked at a laundry, daddy worked as a worker in a sugar factory. So, you know, nothing major, just a happy childhood. I got a sister that is 11 years younger than me. So, you know, I treated her like she was my baby at first, and she's growing now. So I stayed there, and you know, I liked a lot of languages. So throughout high school education, I picked languages, foreign languages, Spanish, French, German, English, Portuguese, whatever. And then I had started to play soccer professionally. Then here is the sliding doors, you know, like the movie. At a certain point, I was about to sign up for a very good team, making quite good money, but then I injured my ankle. So what happened is this one team didn't want me because I had to go through surgery first because they were investing a lot of money. So I go through the preparation, I get better, get better. The moment I'm ready to move, I break it down again. So at that point, at that point, I was all over the places because all I had done in my life was playing soccer. So that was the sliding doors. So after a little bit of distress moments, literally, I decided to close that experience off and move away. So because I loved languages, there were two major schools for interpreters in Italy, one up north, close to where I lived. So that wouldn't have helped much. And the second one was in Rome. So what I did, I took a test to come in because it's a close number, and I made it to Rome back in 1998, something like that. I don't want to remember that far ago. Then I come over here, you know, the school, whereas in Italy, the universities, the colleges are for free, and that is, you know, what it is. So basically you have a little fee to pay per year. This one though was pay per go, as I say, and not coming from a family to make a living here in the city of Rome, also because rents were super expensive. I had to work at night in a bar, actually an American bar in the central part of Rome called the Drunken Ship, and I was working as a bartender. And by the time I started, I had entered the American mentality so much that every time I had a minute, I flew over to the United States. And as a matter of fact, today that I'm almost 40, I visited 32 states out of 50 in the States.
Wow.
But for other reasons as well. But I was there, and there was this one bouncer at the bar, and he used to tell me all the time, "Luca, you speak English pretty good. Why, instead of working late hours because you got to go to school tomorrow morning, let's do one thing. Tomorrow, instead of going to college, if you can quit for a day, come near the Vatican museums and you'll see me there." He didn't tell me anything. So I go there and I see the bouncer, big guy, you know, from Ireland, in the corner with the entrance of the Vatican museums, a long line. At the time, there was no way to skip the line. And this guy with a hat was going, as soon as he heard some English-speaking people going by, was going like, "Do you need a guide? Do you need a guide?" I was like, what do you mean? So this dude, this guy, was stopping all the English-speaking people, grouping them up in a group of 10, 15 people. And because at the time inside the Vatican, there was no control over the permits to be a tour guide, As far as you knew the language and you knew a little bit the art, you could have gone through. Somehow he skipped the line and he got and I saw wow. And so I asked this guy, dude, this I love this. Art is my passion. Here in college, I studied not only linguistics but also anthropology and the four art and history. I would love to do that. How much do you make per day? He was telling me like 300 euros a day, and I was like, what? It takes me 1 week at the bar to make it. So I quit everything the day after. I start. I go there. Anybody coming by? Do you need a guide? Do you need a guide? Inside the Vatican. And that was pretty much June, and I had done it till the end of the year, so pretty much November. What happens? Long story short, this is also the other turning part, that I figured that this is what I want to do. I speak the languages. I love the art. I love Italy. So why not sharing what I know with the other people? And so I meet one guy, an elderly guy, famous among the tour guides in Italy because he himself from Rome. He had lived in Canada. Once he came back here in Rome in the 1970s, he started to be a guide. But at the time, there was no concept of guidance exactly yet. He went around with stretch limousine, beige color, very ugly, and he used to go on Via Veneto taking these Americans around Italy for a lot of money. And this guy was famous all around the guys because he used to play an accordion. So that day I go outside the Vatican, I see him playing the accordion. He puts his eyes on me and he goes like, man, you're good. Come work with me. And I go work with him. Well, the first 2 years have been terrible because he helped me learn the job and I learned every aspect of it. The problem is that not having that much money myself, he gave me, while doing work, studying in college, he gave me a little, as I call it, the hole, a little room in the basement of his house. And, I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the port of Livorno. I had to go very early away from home, from the apartment and stuff like that. But he had kids, and the kids, grown kids, they're in their 30s. They didn't have any respect for the hours I did. I was like treated like a sort of a slave. And I remember that they used to play at night, getting all drunk, playing ping pong, table tennis. And I used to hear the ball ping pong, all night, and I couldn't sleep. Long story short, I get out of there. I start my business. My business has taken off over to these days. I have a team of guides and drivers that cover all of Central Italy, but over to the north and to the south, only with private tours. But 5 years ago, I'm with my firstborn, my daughter. She was maybe 3. And I was going through a toy store and I see a ping pong table, a table tennis table. So I go like, wait a minute. You know what I did? I bought it. I took it home. I never used it. But that in my mind was like a sign saying, look, I was treated like a slave. I couldn't sleep at night because those disrespectful kids of that guy played all night long with that beer pong, whatever. Mm-hmm. And now I made it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to leave it there. Like symbol of I made it. This is my little story.
I love that story. Oh my gosh. And P.S. I could listen to you talk all day. I could listen to you read the phone book. But anyway, that is so beautiful. Wow. So it really took, you were getting up at 4:30 in the morning. You were to do anything it took to make this happen, right? You weren't just like, oh,
absolutely,
it's too early.
yes.
I'm going to
working 16, 17, 18 hours a day. I wanted to learn. I knew that guy, the accordion guy, was the best ever. Right. And I wanted to learn, even if it takes efforts. And somehow, living in a hole for about a year, literally like a hole, like a 9 by 9 foot wide room, like no space, no intimacy, nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah. What would you tell yourself things when you were in the hole? Like, it's just for now, or I'm going to make it?
No. What I've learned in my life, then nothing comes for granted, and you have to get it. How to get it?
Right.
You have to work off. You have to make it. You have to be powerful through your thoughts and never give up. That's what I always thought. And in the end, that's why I bought that table.
Yeah.
That beer pong table, that ping pong table, because that is like, look, at the time I hated hearing that. Now I can afford buying one and leave it there. It's not a money thing. It's just an idea of saying, I made it. I made it because I made it. Yes, I made it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
for sure, another thing is true. I will never treat my employees like that guy treated me, even though I learned so much from him.
That's so interesting because I think when you are an employee and then you have employees, you can learn from your bosses and here's how to treat someone and here's absolutely how I'm never going to treat someone.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
That's the turning point of your success as well, because the real power of your business is your employees. It's not
absolutely
you.
right.
It's your
Oh,
employee. I
but
live
I
for them.
and oh, that's so lovely. And I would say too, I've worked at places where the whole atmosphere, it is always top down. Whereas if the
Oh
president of
yeah,
the big company, is a jerk, that's going to trickle down. So if someone like you,
absolutely.
yeah.
It's always it's everywhere on the social. The difference between a boss and a leader. You know,
Mm,
I don't like to be a boss because I don't like to tell them do this. I am the first one out on a tour to show them how to do the tours. I'm not here or playing tennis and calling my guys and saying, "Did you do that?" No, I'll do it with you and I'll do it for you. That's how I
wow.
always went. Always. And these are no words. These are not only words. You can ask my employees.
Hmm.
That is the only thing I'm very proud of.
Hmm. And that's why you're
Absolutely.
successful. I'm so grateful. And can you share what's your favorite part, the best part about owning your own business?
So basically, when you own your own business, Rachel, is honestly, first, I don't have to listen to what other people tell me to do. That helps because, it helps because I've listened to them all my life. And the moment you have your own business, you work for you,
Mhm.
especially if you do something that you like.
Yeah.
And so you can experiment new things on you. You don't have to depend on anybody else.
Hmm.
And that's the best part, according to what I think. The second part is that you can do for others what others have done for you in the past. So that's the other thing. Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's so
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Absolutely.
Uh,
It makes me feel good.
oh, you make me feel good. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. I'm just a big fangirl over here. What, what would be some advice you give to somebody who is maybe afraid to take that leap to go out on their own? Do you have any words of wisdom?
Look, look, look. Are you good at what you do? So that's the question. Um, being good is worse than being average, because when you're good, you're so close to being great that is a shame to step back. How do you step back from there? Keeping on working for somebody else. How do you achieve the greatness? Go out and do it on your own. Now you know what to do. That's how I see it. So basically, so that's how basically I see it. So if you're very good at something, why should you do it for somebody else? The step to
Mm-hmm.
being great is so short that going back to average would be such a shame. Just work on your efforts and be great.
That's
That's
brilliant
that's what.
advice. Because I think so often people will maintain a level of, I'm good at this. I know I'm pretty good at this. But then they don't have that little extra, you
But
know.
but look, Rachel, nobody is born being an entrepreneur. I still have a lot of space for understanding how to be an entrepreneur and a business person, and that's why I have employees around me, sometimes even 30, 40 years older than me, that teach me what to do. Then
Mhm.
I put it under the business point of view, but I listen to them because there's always space to improve. The reality is that we have to respect everybody's idea. Somebody doesn't feel like doing that. You have to find yourself in the right place at the right moment.
Mhm.
And if that happens, you'll go the extra mile to be your own boss.
Right. So it's an interesting mix of you have to have confidence to know that you're able to do it, but then also
Absolutely.
have, I guess, would it be to be humble enough to accept advice from other people?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Rachel, because maybe you're working. One of my guides has been a guide for over 42 years. When What do you think I can teach him? Nothing. Maybe I can teach him to be a little bit more technological when he posts the videos of the tours, but
Yeah.
he can teach me everything about it. So when he talks, I listen. I
Hmm.
transform his words into today's way of doing business. But the
Right.
basics are given by the words of wisdom that this guy carries out because he's been doing this for 42 years.
Wow. That's amazing advice. Wow. Now with this crummy pandemic going on, tell me, how have you had to change your business model because people can't come to do your tours, right?
Well, look, yeah. Let me tell you something first. I remember when I was a little kid and I was playing soccer up north in front of my house in the garden, and I hurt a knee, and so it was bleeding. So I ran home crying sometimes, and my grandpa's he used to give me a chocolate cube all the times, and you used to tell me all the times, now you're bleeding, there's nothing to do, but why not feeling better while not feeling good with a piece of chocolate? I don't know if that makes sense. So the COVID pandemic hit. The tourism is the first thing that was hit, and it's gonna be the last one to restart. So we're suffering. We are not feeling good. While we're not feeling good, why not eating some chocolate to make it a little sweeter? So
Mm-hmm.
where was my chocolate? My chocolate was to keep on doing what I like. So without any religious misunderstanding, and please forgive me. There is a phrase that says, "If Muhammad doesn't go to the mountain comes to Muhammad."
Yes.
So basically, right after I started to take videos of my cities and places in Italy, boxing them up in a video tour, and I started virtual tours. And it's funny because in a very humble way, when I came out with the idea, I felt like I was the only one doing it. After 2 months, boom, all the world started with Zooms and everything. But that was the only thing that gave me the chance to keep on professing what I love, which is sharing what I know about my place with other people. And that helped me also because now I'm going to tell you, 99.9% of the money I made out of it, I gave it to my guides. It wasn't for me. Thank goodness I still have a little reserve that
Mm-hmm.
is helping me going through the craziness. Plus, I'm doing other things as well. But with one stone, I hit two birds.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping on doing what I love,
Mm-hmm.
and at least helping my employees that were, laid off with a little contribution by the government to try to get to the end of the month. So
Right.
yeah, that was what I did, the virtual tours. Anybody wanting a virtual tour, shoot me an email at info@romeprivateexcursions.com.
Fabulous. And we'll have that all listed as well. We've done them and we are so ready to get back to traveling after last year. And it really just gives you the nice little taste of what is to come. And, obviously because Rome and everywhere else, it's so old anyway. It's not like it's
Oh
going
yeah.
to change. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, they're extraordinary. I encourage you all to take some of Luca's tours. They are bellissimo, bellissimo. So I was going to say, it takes real courage again to pivot during when you hit these roadblocks, because somebody else might have been like, oh, well, I guess I'll just give up. But you had that inside of you that wasn't going to happen.
No way of giving up. But guys, the World War II has gone by and it ended, and people rebuild the economy. We're not talking. I don't want to hear anybody comparing this to the World War II or a major massive war. This is something that happened. This is something that we're seeing the light off at the end of the tunnel. This is something. Well, travel is first necessity. So, well, apart from food and water and a house, it comes right after because people need to travel. People need physically to travel,
Mm-hmm.
and tourism has always been out there.
Mm-hmm.
So one way or the other, this is gonna restart, and when it restarts, it's gonna be like a rocket. So we gotta be ready. And now to be ready, why not using this last month before the rebirth to improve yourself, to improve your business?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you need money, do some side business as well. But in the remaining time, improve what you have. Do
Mm-hmm.
not step back, step forward. That's the most important thing, always.
Oh, I totally agree. And I've always felt that traveling especially as soon as everything opens back up, is so important for people, because I think when you stay in your little bubble of your world, I feel like everything in your brain, your own problems get huge. But then when you go and travel and see something else, it's like, oh, all right, more
Of
perspective.
course, Rachel. Of course, Rachel. Moreover, don't forget about one thing. Our governments all around the world, they need us to travel. Because if we don't travel socially and anthropologically, we think too much about what the government is doing. Okay?
Mhm.
During no, I'm not kidding. Well,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is an anthropological aspect that happened also during the ancient Roman days, when in a population like in the city of Rome of about 1 million people, 90% was poor part of the population, and the emperors, to keep them quiet, they used to give them free food, free wine, and free games. Why? Not to make them think about the problems of their everyday life, most of them brought by um, um, a bad way to lead these people, in a corruption that was all around the empire. Not that we are corrupted, no, nothing like that. But believe me, socially talking, traveling will be always allowed,
Hmm.
because that is something that people need to be happy, and our governors need us to
Hmm.
travel big time.
Yeah.
So
Wow, what a great perspective. It's so true. I never really thought of it that way, but of course that makes so much sense. Now, you are such a positive and upbeat person. Are there things that you do personally that help you choose happiness on a daily basis?
first, I wake up every morning and praise God for being up. First. Second, I went through a little mental training, I would put it this way, in this past year. Talking to a friend of mine, I remember how 3 years ago, I was getting tired of all I had.
Hmm.
I was losing somehow a little bit of spark
Mm.
of, and I was going like, oh, maybe I'm going to start another kind of business, because this one goes on its own, it's perfect. And now I would love to be back 2 years ago. So this helped me understand that every day what I get, I have to cheer up for.
Mm.
Never get used to what you have. Never get used to what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Fight for more, but never be happy. Never be happy. Always be happy. Always be grateful. Always be grateful. Because I want to bet anything on this. If all of you could exchange 2 years ago with now, they would do it in a heartbeat. Maybe 2 years ago they were complaining because they were working too long hours and they didn't have time for a spa. But I would rather do that than being here
Right.
today. Well,
Right.
not being here today, being in these days, like with the crisis that the COVID brought up.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Right. Oh, that is so beautiful. So gratitude is a big part of your life. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For everything I have,
Mhm.
everything,
Mhm.
everything.
It's important, I
Always.
think, also to take time, because we do take things for granted so often, and we complain a lot. And then it does take something like a global pandemic to bring us back to reality and say, yes, I'm grateful for all those things I was complaining about.
No, look, always not to put it under the religious point of view. Whatever God is yours, whatever entity is yours, it's like this one God told us, hey guys, I think you're getting a little bit over the board. You want to know one thing? Let me show you.
Hmm.
Stop now and think.
Yeah, I agree. So
Come out.
what does the future look like, do you think? When's it going to start opening up again there?
I think that it takes another 3 months of partial lockdowns in certain parts of the world before the numbers go down again. Vaccine or not vaccine, the vaccine is fundamental.
Mhm.
Like it or not like it, that's fundamental. In America, you guys doing a great job already. You went over already 1 million doses and people vaccine, so it's coming up. It's moving. It's moving.
Mhm.
I see end of May, June, July, not that much for cruising, but for land excursions, land visits. So flying into a country and move from there, it's going to be the time when that is going to happen. And
Okay.
end of May, beginning of June, unless anything else changes,
Right.
because at this point we're open to everything, are we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have a favorite place that you like to take people?
absolutely. First, okay, starting from the point of view that Italy in 11 hours from the north to the south can, if you were to drive from the Alps down to the peak of the Butte, you would see the mountains, the plains, the Lake District, the hilly parts, the art cities, all in 11 hours. But rather than that, I love to go to Tuscany. I love to go to Tuscany with my guests, because Tuscany has so many little medieval places, some beautiful areas, green, great food, great wine. So I love that. If I have to tour outside Rome, that's the second place where I would go,
We did
and
not
that's where I
get
go
there,
often.
but that is our number one to come when we come
On
back,
the
is to go.
bucket list.
So we will meet you there. I can't
I'll
wait.
be here. I'll be here.
So tell everyone where they can find you and sign up for your magnificent tours.
Okay, so the website is www at romeprivateexcursions.com,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Here you have a bunch of tours on my website, but as I always say, that is only a window. Hit the contact bottom, write to me, write to us, and we will tailor the tour on your needs, whatever you need. Nothing is boxed up. Your experience is unique, so we will make it even more special.
Wow, that's incredible. And like I said, our trip would not have been nearly as wonderful, and we cannot wait to go back. I hate to let you go, but you have things to do. So thank you so much for being with us. I so appreciate it.
Rachel, so beautiful. Thank you for this opportunity, and I wish you all the best.
Thank
Let's
you
keep in touch,
for
and
sure.
everybody keep up.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Ciao. Mwah. Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.